What's up, daters? Today we're talking about living your life by design, and our very special guest is a connoisseur of wine. With the state of the world, there's the travel bug in the air, and we are going to dive into her flavor affair. Tune in to stay up to date. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Up to Date. I'm your host, Chelsea Texera, and today I am so excited to be joined by Lorena Woods, the founder of Lorena Wine Diary and the Flavor Affair. Lorena, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for your invite.
Yes, of course. Cheers, my love.
Yeah, cheers.
Woo! So today we are actually just drinking a little bit of sparkling wine because obviously our beautiful guest is a wine connoisseur, and we are going to tune into why it's called sparkling wine and not champagne a little bit later.
Yeah, so I love it. Thank you for inviting me here. This is a great way to start the day.
Yes, of course. Right.
So we're having some sparkling wine from California,
yes.
Also called California Champagne. But yes, so champagne, obviously it's called because of France.
I thought I was grabbing champagne. So this is a great lesson for everyone here because I grabbed Brut because to me, Brut is champagne. But apparently...
So Brut is the style.
Right,
Is the style of the sparkling wine.
Okay.
Or the champagne. But champagne comes from Champagne, France.
Yes.
So which is on top of Paris, and that's what the name is of champagne. So they have the process of doing this sparkling wine is the traditional method, which a lot of places have adapted now here in either in California or any other places that are doing sparkling wine. So then they do the traditional method, which is the same as in champagne. And then they, people, not everybody knows that because unless you go to a book and you start reading about the process of why champagne, everybody's going to call it champagne.
Okay.
Even me, before reading, I was before doing all my studying in wine, I would call it champagne, right?
Totally.
But yeah, it has the bubbles. It's delicious. I'll take it.
It has the bubbles. We're going to be in trouble.
Taking it.
So I actually deep down in my heart knew that, I guess, because I have heard that traditional champagne only comes from Champagne, France.
Yes.
However, when I go look for a mimosa and I'm getting the bottle at the store, I see some that say champagne, but obviously sometimes they're a little bit higher price point. But of course it's because they're literally actually champagne from Champagne, France.
Correct.
So that's the difference. So thank you for that lesson, which we can't wait to hear many, many more. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about you?
Okay, so, my name is Lorena Woods. I started I have an Instagram account called Lorena Wine Diary, and, but I also have this other work. So that's kind of it turned to my hobby. It was a hobby first, but now it's turning into something a little bit bigger. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about some of the projects that I'm working on.
Yes, please.
But I do work in the aerospace industry.
Okay.
And I am the marketing manager in one of the business units of the company I work for. But so I was I did my master's 2 years ago at USD, and then once I finished, I was like, okay, what's next, right? Because I finished my master's, and you get this sense of, okay, should I be doing homeworks or should I be doing something else? Or so that's when I just signed up to a program at SDSU. They have a wine certificate in there, and the first day I went there, I knew it was meant to be. I did have a tear in there, but on the first day of
that's how you're like, wow.
I knew it, and I knew I didn't want to end the class. And having that feeling, I knew that I didn't want to just let go of wine education and drink wine, which we all love. But I was just so thirsty of knowledge
And actually thirsty, right?
Yeah, actually thirsty. But I felt like when I was going through my classes of wine, I felt like I knew nothing, about wine. And I always thought I knew about wine. Right. But so I just wanted to know more and more and more. And I wanted to drink different things. I do feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I just like Cabernet, so I'm just going to stay with Cabernet. But me is the opposite. I felt like I wanted to be a little bit more risky and just try to like drink everything. Like, sometimes I get the question of what kind of wine is your favorite? And it's so hard to answer that question because, now that I have drank so many wines from around the world, I'm like, you can't say just one, right? Because they're so delicious.
Well, and I think so many different wines pair with so many different things. So that's actually what I really wanted to talk to you about because right now I think the thing for a lot of young people and just people in general is the cheese board culture, the charcuterie culture. Yeah. So it's like, what would you suggest for wine pairings as far as like different meats or cheeses, or do you have any go-tos?
So, that's a great question. So it all depends on what wine are you drinking, right? So I always say, if you don't know how to pair, just go for sparkling wine or champagne or anything like that. That will always go great with everything. The fall is coming.
Sure is.
You want to get to the reds, right? You want to get to the Rhone Valley GSMs, which are the Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre, or you want to go to the Cabernet, something more deep and like strong, and then you start like pairing with like the dishes that are starting to come out in the fall, and a lot of like stews or meat or steak, all that kind of stuff. So for me, those combinations of red wine with beef, it's amazing.
Yes.
Lamb chops. Like I make these lamb popsicles. Oh my God. And pair it with like a Rhone from the Southern Rhone in France. Delicious. So, it all depends what you're having. Salmon. You you think that because it's fish, you're gonna go for white? No, pair it with a Pinot Noir. It's because they're light, the Pinot Noirs.
I love Pinot Noir. Yes.
Pastas, white sauce. If it's white sauce, then you're gonna pair it with a white wine. Depending if it's creamy, you're gonna go with a creamier wine like a Chardonnay from California, which are a little bit, they use the oak, so it's a little bit more like in the creamier taste. But then you also have Chablis from France, and it's like, that's unoaked, and then you have these delicious flavors. I can just keep talking about
go on and on and on.
about wine.
So you said people ask you what your favorites do you have, and you said it's so hard to choose. But what are like a couple of your maybe seasonal favorites for like every season?
Oh, I transitioned from rosé. Rosé is all year long, right?
Right.
But I transitioned from a rosé to my Southern Rhone, which are the GSM. That blend is phenomenal. Like you gotta try it. It's not too deep that you can't like drink it, or too tannin. It's just balanced, great structure. The Grenache is a beautiful grape with a lot of alcohol content. So those are the good ones.
That's right.
Because one thing that I can say is that like the GSMs, which GSM is the first letter of the three grapes that come. It's a blend. And so it's Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. Okay. So the Grenache brings a lot of alcohol content. And the more alcohol, the tastier. For me, the more alcohol, the tastier.
Totally.
Because if you get to like wines that are lower content in alcohol, they're going to be very sweet.
Yeah.
So
I feel cheated.
Yes. And then you get hangovers the next day.
Oh, God, you know what? Yeah, you know what? That's why I love, so normally I'm a craft cocktail girl because, like you can make it so it's less sugary and all that if you're just doing, like a lot of more just straight vodka or things like that and not having a ton of sugar. But wine, sometimes I feel like I end up getting the worst hangovers. But it, I guess, would depend on what you're really like choosing to drink.
And there's also tricks, right?
Let's hear.
Not bad tricks. Good tricks.
Good tricks. We love good tricks, yeah.
Electrolytes. So you know
Gatorade?
what, one of the yes, one of the issues of one of the reasons why we get the headaches the next day and the hangovers is the dehydration of the body when you're drinking a lot of alcohol. When the wine has a lot of sugar or alcohol content, then it just gives you those headaches the next day. But if you drink, there are these tablets. I'm not gonna say the brand name, or do you want me to say the brand? No name. Okay. So then there's these tablets that are electrolytes. You just take them before you're gonna start drinking. And then you're hydrated.
Okay.
So then you can just drink.
Love that.
But then you if you finish one glass and you drink a glass of water, and the body needs to be hydrated. That's all you need.
My trick is when I remember a big glass of water in between, and honestly, like preeminent ibuprofen. Let's take 2 ibuprofen, and then sometimes even if I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll feel a little bit like and then ibuprofen and then sleep a couple more hours. That's my trick.
Yes.
But no, I would love to get the actual name, and that's sounds great, because I love wine, but that's my only hang up. And I think it's because it's been so hot, and we're in San Diego, so it's hot all the time.
I know.
I'm a white wine girl because
it's so easy.
It's so much easier to drink, and I feel like maybe you can tell me if this is right or wrong. Less sugar than red wines. I don't know, because I don't feel as hungover when I drink white wines, my Chardonnays or
really?
Then when I drink red wine, I feel like it's so thick in my brain. It's like a brain fog.
Yeah, so it all depends on the sugar content. I believe that, that's interesting. So I probably get more hangovers on the white ones. Because
I think sparkling wine sometimes you do, but not Chardonnays or those kind of things, but definitely sparkling wine.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
We'll be drinking lots of water after this. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I enjoy during the fall right now. I'm doing a lot of red.
Yeah.
I did open last night a brewed rosé. So it was pretty good.
You like your rosé, it sounds like.
I do love rosé. But I am transitioning now. Finally, California weather is changing, so I'm excited for that. So I'm taking out my my red bottles and putting my music, because I do a lot of food music, unique pairings. With the wine, not just with food, but also with music. So I I'll play my jazz music, some soul music, and then just pop some
sexy,
bottles.
Savory little combination there, Missy. I love that.
Yes.
Awesome. And so, also, you said that you are happily married.
Yes.
Next week, you guys will be celebrating your 9th anniversary.
Yes, I know.
So
it feels like it's a big number, but it doesn't feel that long.
That's honestly, come on, that's what we were hoping for, right?
Yes.
Well, so I'm sure that he enjoys all of that pairing of deliciousness. Yeah. So how did you guys meet?
Oh, it's so funny. We met in Mexico. So I'm originally, if you can hear it in my accent, I originally... I was born and raised in Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico, which is 2 hours away from here, from San Diego. And so I was working in a hotel. I was the public relations manager in there. And so he was one of the guests. And he just started talking to me, invited me out. And I said, no, I'm not going out with you. You're I don't know if you're a weirdo or you're going to try to kill me, taking me somewhere out. So in Mexico, we're very traditional, and going out just with this random people wasn't at that moment, at that time wasn't
that's not the move. Yeah.
No. So, I said, the only way that I can go out with you is if we go with other couples, other people. He's like, okay. So he found this other couple, and he came, he introduced me. He these are my friends. And then I met the friends. They look normal, and I'm like, okay, well, he doesn't look like a killer. He doesn't look like cuckoo or anything, he's gonna kill me. So then I said, okay, well, let's go out. And I brought a friend. Also a girlfriend. I'm like, you know what? If something goes wrong, we're just we gotta go, right?
That's a writer. Your friend, she's down. Wow,
yes. Good. So, we had a great time. We went for dinner, all of us, and then we went to a club. And ever since, we just started dating, and we got married 4 years after. He waited for me till I finished my college degree, and
Wow.
and here I am now in San Diego.
Woohoo!
He's from Lincoln, Nebraska. He's a Cornhusker. So yeah.
No way. Wait, and you guys met in Mexico?
Yeah, he was here for work. So he went to Mexico for work.
He's a Cornhusker.
He's a Cornhusker, yeah. And I've been in Lincoln. Great steaks over there, and we went to some college games, and it was pretty fun. Very cold.
Oh, I bet.
Very cold.
Yeah, up near Canada, yeah.
Yeah, it was intense, and not compared to San Diego
Where we're
weather.
from. Yeah.
And we went one time to a football game of the Cornhuskers, and I think I can't remember exactly the month because it was so long ago, but I know it was under 32 or something.
It's crazy.
And we were there, and in the middle of, I was drinking tequila just to keep warm, to stay warm, but at the middle of the game, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just get out.
We are going to be a halftime too for we're getting out of here. It is freezing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but life brought me here to San Diego, and I'm extremely happy. I got my work here. I got my hobby now here, and doing a lot of Instagram stuff now, and just enjoying lots of wine.
You know what? I think that your life sounds perfect. So how did we start with the Instagram thing? Because I always find it fascinating how people get started, because it is not always super easy to get a following. No. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear how you embarked on that journey.
It's been a journey. I can tell you that. So my handle originally was Cali Life San Diego. Mm-hmm. So Cali Life SD it was called, and I would post things about San Diego restaurants, locations, just things like that. And it was really good because there's so much things to do here in San Diego, but it wasn't giving me that passion. I was still missing something. And so I went to I did my master's degree here in USD, Matorero. So once I finished, as I mentioned, I was looking for that, thing to do after my master's. So that's when I signed up to my classes, and I knew I just wanted to do that. So by then I had I think I had 2,000 followers back then. Mm-hmm. And when I was still Cali Life SD. And then I knew that I just wanted to talk about wine. And I wanted to make my Instagram only about wine. And so then a lot of people were like, no, Lorena, you already have 2,000 followers. You can't change all of a sudden. I'm like, yes, I am going to do it, because that's what my passion is. I just want to talk about that. Yeah. And Cali Life wasn't saying anything about wine. Yeah. So then that's when I just changed it to Lorena Wine Diary. And I just started, it was going slow at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then I just, try to network with a lot of other wine influencers and Instagrammers and just try to connect. Yeah. I just had to throw my name out there. Totally. And, that helped me a lot, just knowing a lot of people in the wine industry. Mm-hmm. And helping us all each other.
Promoting, yes, all that. Yeah, it's really important.
Promoting.
Yeah.
And it started growing, and then I started doing a lot about wine story and talking to wineries, and I knew that I started seeing my audience to grow, and that they wanted to know about wine. So a lot of my audience was now wine people or people that just wanted to learn a little bit more.
So would you say you were hashtagging things too that really helped? Or yes. I think hashtags are honestly such a big thing when it comes to I'll post a picture, and if I don't put hashtags on it, it'll get normal amount. If I hashtag it with the right things, I'll get 5,000 more views than you ever. Yeah, it's just I was actually
talking to this other influencer that she's higher than me. I think she's in the 13 or 14,000 followers. And she's like, Lorena, what are you doing? Because last year no, not true. Not even last year. I think it was March when the pandemic hit, and
March,
then
yep.
everybody was at home. That's when it hit. Like that's when my account went from 4,000 to 11,000. I'm serious.
Since March?
Since March.
And so what did you do? You said hashtags?
It's a lot of things, and I'm actually thinking about.
Tell me.
No,
girlfriend.
a lot of people are asking me to do this webinar.
Yeah.
So I'm considering about doing a webinar.
You absolutely should.
Because I did learn a lot about all the things that I did. I can write them down. I can tell you what you
There's a
can
formula
do.
to
There
it,
is
yeah.
a formula.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of vision. You say like your profile, the way it looks, the way
Yes. Your brand.
the brand.
Yeah.
So what it helped a lot is that I'm in marketing in my other job.
So you're able to market yourself.
I market myself. I use the things I learned to I apply them to my Instagram account, like branding,
Mhm.
like messaging.
Mhm.
Like there's so much than just posting a picture.
Right.
And it's about the messaging that you're giving to your audience.
Totally.
What is the value that you're bringing to your audience, right?
Right.
What are they taking from each post that you're making in your Instagram account? There's hashtags are considered, for me, a hashtag is a tool, right? It's something that is going to help you grow, but what you're saying to your audience, it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I talk about wine all the time. There's always something in there about wine.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the times I talk about motivational stuff.
Yeah.
I talk about, because right now at this moment, we're all going through these weird times.
It's a weird time.
It's a weird time. So what I'm learning about this time, I'm putting it out there, right? And I feel like people understands what I'm saying. But yes, hashtags is one of them. The time that you post.
It's super important.
Super important.
So what would you say are your best times that you always try to post?
So first of all, do you know who your audience is? Do you understand who the people that is where they're located?
Mm-hmm.
So 50% of my people is from the US.
Mm-hmm.
The other 50% is around the world. It's in Italy, it's in France, it's in the UK.
Mm.
So I'm like, at the time that you're posting,
needs to be
cohesive. When they're both of the audiences awake.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that at 7 a.m. it's like 4 p.m. in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the time where they're done with work and stuff. They're at home. And then there's also at the time where they're the US here in California, they're waking up.
Yep.
Or in the East Coast, they're at the breakfast or something like that.
Yeah.
So for me, 7 a.m. is very important because I understand my audience, right?
Wow.
But if your audience is only the East Coast or only the Pacific side, then at what time is the time where you're usually on your phone, right? So you gotta understand who your audience is.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram does give you the tools to see that. So I have a creator or like a business profile as well, and so I can see that my audiences they're most online at this time or whatever. So I usually try to post like anything I actually like post stories. I post whenever, of course.
Yes.
But anything I actually like concretely post, I either do it from like 11 to 1, like 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or like 5, 6, or 7, depending on the day, like p.m.
Yes.
And I find that is like such a higher return than like 3 o'clock in the middle of the day when people are maybe getting off work or still at work. And like what you really do have to think about it. Like I've had friends, like one of my girlfriends, she posted something and she's like called me. She's like, look at my post. And I'm like, I didn't see it. She's like, go look at it. She's like, it only got this many likes in 10 minutes. I'm like, we'll delete it and post it later. It's really crazy how it does matter. It super matters.
It's a whole like, you gotta analyze the whole Instagram. You can't just think because you have good pictures, you gotta post them and you should expect like really like good engagement and following. No,
there's a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot. The algorithms. Did you know that only 20% of your followers see your post? It's like that's something I learned recently. So if you go to your, once you post and you can see your insights, you're going to see that, let's say, if you have So for me, I have 11,000 followers. So my usual number is going to be like 2,000. So, and if you think about the number, the percentage, it's around like 20% of it.
Yeah.
So Instagram doesn't show it
That's so interesting.
to all of your followers. It just goes down there. And the only way that they'll see it is if you're having a lot of engagement with that with that person. So one of the tricks that I do, and one of my secrets, is that if there's people that are not engaging with me, I try to engage to their page. That way Instagram detects that I'm having that engagement with them, and then they'll see it later on. They'll see my post. So that's really important.
So make connections, even if like it's not a super organic thing. You're like, I'm gonna go out my way to connect with this person because I want. Yeah, I think that's amazing. Yeah, hi, here I am. Let's engage.
Exactly.
Let's engage.
Exactly. You know, and I always say when they ask me, other Instagrammers ask me, it's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, so think about this. So when someone starts a new product, not Instagram related, but starts a new product and wants to put their product at the store, let's say one of the big grocery stores or anything, they put their product in there. It could be the best product ever. But if it's not out there, like if they don't go out there to promote it, nobody's going to see it.
Right.
So it's the same thing as in Instagram. If you don't go talk to other people, nobody's going to go to your
profile. Page? Yeah, they're not going to go see it. Yeah.
No, unless you pay and you do all the paid thing and that. But
we'd rather not.
But we'd rather not. Like, I don't want to spend money. I'd rather spend it in more wine.
I'd rather spend a little more time. And exactly. Yes.
So, you know, that's one of the things that I kind of recommend is like, get out there. Don't always talk to the same people that you talk to, right? Go out there. Who is your audience? Identify who's the audience and who you're trying to reach. What are the hashtags that they're looking for? Right. So like for me, I want all the people that put hashtags of wine, right? Yeah. I'm going to go out there to all the people that are putting that hashtag, and I'm going to go look at their profile, like, and talk to them and create that relationship with them.
Create a community.
Exactly.
Totally.
So that's kind of how my account went from 4,000 to 11,000 now.
Because you had a lot more time.
Well, because I had time. Don't tell anybody at work. Yeah. No, but yeah, it was being at home, and also, you know, the wine industry during the pandemic has grown so much because everybody has become a little alcoholic in some kind of level.
100%. Yeah, they're trying all the wines now.
They're trying
like,
all the wines.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got different things on the menu.
So I you know, I got lucky that I'm in one of those you know, industries and niches that you know, everybody wants to either learn something new about, and wine is something that people want to learn something new, 100%. Or I want to know about what bottles I want to buy, right? Because I'm recommending new bottles. So yeah, that's kind of another thing is that travel. So travel, wine.
You know that's my niche, girl.
I know it is. So here it is. So so you mentioned, you know, I'm the founder of Flavour Affair. This is something new that I'm starting, and I'm incorporating travel in there. We can't travel right now, right? Unless you're feeling risky and you want to just jump in the plane and go somewhere.
So. Yeah, but then even places you can travel, you have to quarantine right now. And it's like, that's not worth it. Like, let's wait till it's free and clear.
It's too hard. Yeah. So I'm kind of trying to bring travel to your home. And so I just...
your wine glass.
I do. So I'm trying to bring wine to your home, food, and also music. So I'm trying to create this experience, which is it's the Flavour Affair that I was talking to you about. And so I'm bringing a box, which is like travel in a box. It's not a wine club. It's not a cooking club. It's a experience club. So every 2 months or something, I'm going to be sending you a box with different regions of the world.
Oh, so it's
Yes.
it's like a subscription box.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's something new that I just kick it. I haven't officially launched it, but I did make it public like 2 weeks ago. But I'm gonna start with Italy. So then in your house, you're gonna receive this box with a bottle of Italian wine. Actually, it's from the Piedmont region, which is the top of Italy, and that's where they have all like the Nebbiolos and all those wines, but they also have amazing whites. So then I'm also gonna send you some ingredients from Piedmont. So ingredients that you don't find at the store. So if you want to create, and I'm gonna give you the recipe how to create a traditional dish from the region of Piemonte.
Wow.
Yes, and it's also gonna come with a playlist of what music.
Well, you should listen to
Let's get it on.
Baby, I love that. That's so cool.
Yes,
what a
yes.
great idea.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I just thought like, hey, it's so hard to travel right now. I'm like, why not deliver it to your house? Obviously, you're not getting on the plane or you're sightseeing, but you're gonna be tasting what you would be tasting in where you go to. So
yeah, tasting the flavors of the world, but from your own home, which I think is like so important right now because for one, I'm going stir crazy because I was actually, so when quarantine started in March, I was in the UK. I was traveling. And so I got back like the day of the travel ban.
No way.
Yeah, I was in the UK, luckily. So I would have been fine either way because Trump didn't ban UK travel to the US.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And weird because, like, in October, I went, like, all over the rest of Europe. And then in February, March, I was in just the UK. And normally I'm, like, a all-over girl. But so I was like, wow, the universe works in such mysterious ways as... You guys, I have to just like point out, we did not plan this, and normally I am a planner, but I didn't ask Lorena what she'd be wearing.
It was meant to be.
It was so meant to be like this. I'm sorry. Wow. So once again, everything happens for a reason.
Well, you're talking about all these places that you went to, but so last year I had. Oh, thank you. I'm getting a little dry.
Yeah, getting thirsty over here, girl.
But I had the same thing. I had never been in Europe. Or anywhere, out of America. And last year around October, I had the opportunity to film a video because I'm in marketing. So I had to travel to Scotland.
Scotland is one of my favorite places in the whole world. Where did you go in Scotland?
Prestwick. It's not like a super popular. It's more like business.
But was it still beautiful?
But it's beautiful.
The history there, the architecture.
Goodness.
I died for Scotland. I loved it.
Beautiful. So from there. But that is not over. I had to go from my two locations that I had to be in a time frame of 2 weeks were Scotland and Singapore. Being in San Diego. So I know.
Hello.
I know. So in 2 weeks I had to be in Scotland and I had to be in Singapore. So it was quite like, oh my God, okay, I'm going pretty far. And for never, ever being in Europe or anywhere outside.
So those were your first two places?
Yes. So I went to Scotland, had a great time in there. And then I had the weekend free because I was not gonna come back to San Diego. I'm like, no, why, right?
No, stay. If you're overseas, like my motto is if I fly to Europe, I'm staying for at least 2 to 3 weeks because I just flew 12 hours.
Oh yeah.
Hell no.
Yes. So then from Scotland, I said, okay, I have to go somewhere. So I started searching about different locations. I'm like, well, I can either go all the way to Singapore after Scotland and then just maybe go to Thailand or somewhere over there, something more like crazy and beautiful.
Yeah.
Or I can just go somewhere close by to Scotland and then from there go to. So I did a lot of research and then I heard my friends, very close friends, Andrea and Matt, they were there for in Paris for their honeymoon. And I'm like, I text her, I'm like, hey, I have to be in Scotland, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm going to be in Paris for the weekend.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I'm coming over. So,
Yes.
so then I stayed for the weekend in Paris.
Oh my gosh.
Which, oh my God, it's a dream place. You know.
So that's one of your favorites, you said, correct?
Yes. Paris is just, it stole my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's so romantic. And I thought I loved other cities, but when I went to Paris, it was just like, and you know, I traveled alone that time. It was, you know, I had traveled before. I had been in Montreal and other places for work. But going overseas alone, it's kind of like, it's a big deal.
So I am a solo travel queen. So that's actually that's why I actually started this podcast, because I want young women to know, or
Yes.
it doesn't matter what age, women to know that you can travel by yourself. And it is a little daunting at first, but like the world is your oyster if you believe that it is.
It's amazing.
There's times it's scary, but also like once you actually do it and you're in it, it's just like exhilarating.
Yes. Yeah, for me, it was like an amazing experience, and being in Montreal was pretty awesome. But being in Europe and being in Paris, of course, it's Paris is a city that I want to take my husband, right? Really bad, because it's so beautiful and they're and amazing, and it's just, I don't know, the food.
I loved Paris because like here right now in San Diego with COVID, how it has to be all of our dining's outside or, you know, 20% inside, whatever. That was one of my favorite things to do in Paris. Is just sit outside. And it's so funny. Like they don't make your table, like your seats face each other. It's facing outwards.
Yeah.
It's like the whole point is to people watch and just to watch Paris.
I know. It's amazing. And it was one of the most amazing experiences I ever had. Of course, Scotland and in Singapore is like insanely amazing places, but I was working, and when I was in Paris for the first time ever in my life and alone and with all expenses paid also, it was like
I'd be in trouble.
this experience that it was insane. Like I literally wanted to do all the things that was in my dream, right? And I wanted so bad to go to a jazz bar in Paris. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's insane. You see it in the movies, or you see it in...
It's like a literally a real life dream.
Yeah. So, you know, I text my friend James, which is also into wine, but he's big into, he's from Wine Spectator, but he's into a lot of vinyls and music and stuff. And I'm like, James, give me please the name of a jazz bar that I can go to. And he's like, you gotta go here, he says. And I can't remember the name of the jazz bar, or else I would say it right now, but I went there. I'm all alone. There's this line of all French people, and it's like, and I'm there, and s'il vous plaît, and I'm there alone at night, and it's like, Lorena, I'm like thinking in my head, it's like, Lorena, what are you doing there? You're gonna get either kidnapped or something. I don't know. But
I feel like French people don't care. They don't care about you. They care about them.
So I'm like there, and then the lady at the cashier at the entrance, she's like, oh, we're gonna close now. There's no more space, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's just me. I'm coming all over from California just to be here. And then she's like, okay, only you. Aww, and then they let me in. Well, like, she probably felt bad.
Asking you shall receive. If you didn't ask, then it might not have happened. Yeah. So always ask.
Exactly.
Always.
No, and she probably felt bad, like, oh, this girl is alone. It's like, oh, how sad is that? No, but not true. But so I went in and I found a spot. I met these wonderful people. I can't remember where they're from, but they were somewhere in Europe. So I was like kind of like with my Spanglish and my between my English and my Spanish and everything, we were like kind of like translated. It was the girl and her dad. Her dad was like one of his dreams to go to also a jazz bar, so they were there, and the guy didn't know any English, so I was like sign language and everything, and so they gave me a spot because, you know, they have spots in the jazz bars, and but it was amazing. It was just like I was every second I was enjoying it so much. I was just like, just come to my blood, you know, like just I was just taking it, feeling it. I had a glass of wine, of delicious red wine, and then just listening to that jazz French music vibe. So it was just amazing. Yeah, but from there, you know, I stayed in Paris for several days, and that's when I went to Singapore.
So just like touching on what you just said, like to me, travel brings me so much more into my body and to my mind than like when you're in your routine, like everything is just kind of just that routine, right? Like you're not really necessarily, maybe you are if you are, good for you, but you're not savoring the flavors of things or even like the moments of like just serendipitous things. When I travel, every like breath I take, every new like thing that I feast my eyes upon is like, it's a new experience for me. And so that's why I think that your Flavour Affair thing is so amazing because you're bringing travel to people in their homes. And that's honestly like, I would just absolutely love that. So I'd love to, I can't wait to look at it and see what it's all about. It sounds so great. But yeah, like honestly, I love to go places. I don't want to go eat American food other places. I want to eat the food of the land that I'm at.
Correct.
Drink the wine of the places that I'm visiting or just like that kind of thing. And so why I think traveling solo too is great is because you were sitting there, even though you met other people, you in that moment, it was just you. You were drinking that wine, listening to that music. You weren't worried about if somebody next to you or your husband or your friend was enjoying their time. You were worried about your sensations, your body, your mind, your moment.
Exactly.
And that to me, that's what solo travel is about. It's like so many beautiful moments.
Exactly. No, you said it exactly how I feel. You feel that sensation of passion, of your mind goes wild with trying and tasting with all the senses of your body that your mind can do. So it's like tasting, listening to the music, smelling the aromas. It's crazy. And the, you know, if you think of if people gets excited about trying a good wine with a good food, imagine about playing more with your other senses of music and the food and the wine. I think it's an amazing experience.
100%.
And I'm very passionate about that. And I do it at home. I get home and when I'm cooking, I put the music. If I'm going to be, I'll put some jazz. I'll put some French jazz music. I'll put some Frank Sinatra. I'll put some all kinds of things. But when you're cooking with music and things like that, and it's just it's a different
sensual takeover.
Yes. So so that's kind of what it was pretty amazing, that trip to Paris, and I did not want to. So my family was sending me messages about, oh, you gotta go visit here, this museum and this and that. And I'm like, no, I should, but maybe I'll do that when I go with my husband.
Yeah.
But for me, that was my moment.
Yeah.
That was my time, my weekend to feel Paris as you should feel Paris.
Honestly, I haven't felt Paris solo, and I cannot wait to do it because it's obviously I went with a bunch of girlfriends, and it'd be so great with your husband. But to have like, I love the feeling of waking up early in a city that like jet lag. Shout out to you because that's usually like I'll wake up early because I'm not quite adjusted. But to wake up and walk around and find a cafe for me to have my first coffee of the day in and just have the city to myself, it's euphoric. It's unlike.
Oh my God! I went to this farmers market. And then I went to this restaurant in the farmers market, which is in the, can't remember the name of the, it starts with an M.
Montmartre?
It's a very famous area. Oh God, how can I forget the name?
Montmartre is like super famous. It's like.
Mast? Oh, I can't remember.
Okay.
But anyway, so there's a farmers market. And you go in and there's all these restaurants in the farmers market. It's not like a closed like building or anything. It's just like a big tent, but there's restaurants in there with amazing chefs. And And when I went to one of these places, it's like the chef was cooking in front of me, and they're like popping bottles of wine, and they're like, oh, try this and try that, and like drink this wine, and like try this food, and oh my God. And then you're in this long bar with other people that you don't know, but you're just friends with them at that moment because you're just sharing the food, and they're like popping food in my mouth. They're like, oh, try this. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, and it was like, and I know that if I went with other people, maybe it would not have happened, right?
Thank you. Yes.
It was so incredible. It's like this girl that people might think that, oh, she's lonely traveling. No, it was the most amazing experience because they treat you different.
I don't think you were putting off a lonely vibe. Like for me, whenever I travel, like I've never been lonely if I didn't want to be.
No.
You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to be by myself, of course. Yeah. But most of the time I've met people that like want to include you and want to like have these experiences.
Like, come over. It's like,
I'm
it was amazing.
I love that you said that. Like you're like, if I would have been with other people, that's how I feel. Like so many of the experiences I had solo, I would not have had at all if I was with my other friends.
Yes.
And like, not that it wouldn't have been great with them too, but for me, that's the point. I want to meet people from different walks of life, like different countries. And if I would have been with my friends, I wouldn't have given them probably the time of day, of course, because I'm a very, friendly, like loving person, but I wouldn't have gotten to know them or experience a sit down glass of wine or, or a dance or anything, which to me is so special. And all of the friendships that I've made in my travels are still like friendships that thank God for Instagram. And isn't it so great? Like, I feel like it's something that really nourishes and just like fertilizes and helps grow our loves of life, which is for you, wine, for me, like traveling. It sounds like you super love traveling too.
Yes, I do.
But what I love also, and that I feel like you definitely agree with, especially with the Flavour Affair, is that traveling and wine, like wines from different regions, it connects people from all over the world. So it's amazing.
Yes. And one thing to add to the traveling solo is that it's gonna be a trip that you'll always remember in your life. You know, you'll always remember when you go
alone. You're like,
you did it alone. You were adventurous. You were like doing all these different things and going to like in the dark. And I didn't even tell you about after the jazz bar that I get in my Uber and then the Uber crash. I'm like, really?
Okay.
But anyway, that's another story. I will tell you on another occasion. Okay. But so there's so many stories, and it's just, it will be a trip that I'll always remember, right? Yeah. And then from there, trying to recover after my Paris trip to get on another plane to go to Singapore. And then from being in Singapore like 4 days and then go around the whole globe and just go back to San Diego in 2 weeks. So it's a lot, and recovering of all the jet lag and everything. Like
jet lag takes like 2 weeks. It takes like 2 weeks.
And if you're in different continents, you're like,
because the time in Scotland versus the time in Singapore is like a whole nother thing.
You're like in San Diego time, and then you're in Scotland and Paris, and then you go to Singapore, and then you go back to San Diego, and then from there I had to go to Alabama a week after, and so I had to like also adapt. So it was like,
what day is it?
Oh my, I didn't know. I just knew I had to sleep a lot. Like one of my suggestions and tips for like people that travel that much is just be prepared. Always take all the comfy things that you can take. Like I will have my slippers in my bag. I will have like a lot of moisturizer, facials, and things that I can use when I get in the plane.
You do have great skin. So.
Oh, I had to put on like moisturizers and masks the moment that I was sleeping, so that in the morning I wake up like all refreshed and my because the face can get dry really bad. So just take anything that can help you throughout the, make it more comfortable. More comfortable. And that's kind of what I will suggest, and have all your documents, everything, and line in a folder, but
So let's talk about travel tips. So like along with your bring comfy things, my favorite travel tip I am a carry-on girl, and I love that most places it's a, like a carry-on and a personal item.
Yes.
So I bring like a cute little, like a small suitcase, which is like my carry-on, but then I'll bring, a big bag, like actually the one I bring to the show every time. It's like a nice bag where I have things accessible. Like I always bring a journal because I like to write like in my gratitude journal when I'm flying.
Oh, nice.
Also, like, I'm like, okay, here's the things I want to do. And then I always have a pair of warm, comfy socks because so another tip I always wear. So I try to bring as little shoes as possible. Like my first couple Europe trips, I brought like so many shoes, and I'm like, you don't end up wearing them. Like, I can't tell you how many times I brought a pair of heels and not worn them. But then, like, it's always good to have. But if you need them, you can buy them. It's always kind of what I think. But my number one tip is if you want to bring booties, wear the booties onto your flight. And then bring some comfy socks in your bag. Because what I'll do is I'll take my boots. And if your boots stink, you better get some charcoal packets in them. Because after my last trip to Europe, I'm not too proud to say this. Like and I wear socks and stuff too. But from walking around constantly, and it's like if it's a moist country like the UK and stuff, those things can get a little like ripe, right? I actually bought these charcoal like shoe inserts, and they are amazing because they like absorb any kind of like odor or anything like that. So bring those. But anyway, I always wear my booties onto the plane because you don't want to pack some big old booties. Like you don't want to do that. So wear your biggest, heaviest shoes on your person and then take them off, wear some comfy socks.
Yes.
Lifesaver. Another thing, pack light for sure. Always make sure you bring some snacks. I like gum and gummies and like things like that. Or like I need something salty too. So bring some snacks. And just make sure that and also wear any of your like heavy jackets that you're going to bring. Wear it.
I always bring like long sleeve, anything that is warm and comfy that you can just like get comfy with
a cozy cardigan. Like always bring that. It's just so necessary because like on planes they get colder than you think. Like
I know
100%. And then I totally need a neck pillow. I don't like the ones that have the like sandy stuff in them.
No,
I have this one that's really great. It's very structured and you wrap it around itself so you can which way you want to lay. It's like a structured
I have a Tempur-Pedic one and it's like very heavy and so it's perfect because you're not like your head is not like falling or like just feeling.
Like, the normal ones are just like one thing. Mine is cool because it wraps around itself. So that's what I'm saying. So like instead of it just being one thing where it's kind of one side, this thing wraps up under your chin.
Oh, nice.
It's so great. Like it's honestly the best. And it's leopard. So, it's the best. It's so cute. So I'm also very like a stylish traveler. Maybe when I get older, I won't be the same. I'm just kidding. Of course I will. But so I even bought like a travel blanket that wraps up really good to put in there because like it's cold on there. So
I know,
comfort it's so
comfort.
key.
I always say that it's like comfort and everything that like when you're going to be asleep that you can put on so that it's beneficial to you because coming out of the plane, also sometimes you come up and there's like this face and you don't want to come up with like an ugly face arriving to Paris.
To a beautiful place. Right?
No.
So the one thing I'll say right now, so I haven't gone anywhere crazy during COVID, but I just recently visited my mom up in Northern California and went to like San Francisco, all this stuff. The only reason I am like down for masks right now is because you don't see my mouth like because I can sleep on a plane like no one's business. My mom said when I was a baby, she would put me on the vacuum and like literally like rock me on the vacuum because I could sleep through anything. So I like always can sleep on a plane. But one of my favorite things I bought from Amazon is this pack with an eye patch and earplugs. But so how comfortable and private is this? Imagine this right now. This is future travel, future COVID travel when things are good. Eye patch, earplugs, and a mask. You are covered. I like that because I feel like it's actually very invasive to be sleeping on sleeping is a very vulnerable position to be in, right? So that's what I'm saying about like the mask thing. It's like, okay, it covers like my mouth. Like also, have you heard the thing that like you eat 7 spiders in your lifetime because like we sleep with your mouth?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know because I'm scared of spiders.
Okay, girl, my roommate who's also named Sarah, she's the best and she kills all of my spiders. Like literally one night she was asleep. This was like 2 weeks ago. 2 a.m. I had to vacuum a spider. spider up because I will not kill a spider. I'm not going to do it. I won't get close to them. I'm afraid they're going to jump in my mouth. So, yeah, it's right.
I can't even see spider webs. Like, is that?
Well, see, yeah, exactly.
There's a spider in there.
yeah. Something created this, and I'm not okay with it.
And it's there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so definitely eye mask. Get the ones that if you have lashes or even, I mean, just I think it's better to not have it right on your eyes. They have like the little it's like a little bit out farther. So yeah, eye mask, earplugs. That
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you create also that privacy.
Yeah,
like
that's
nobody bothered me.
Yeah, not
even the spiders.
Yeah, nobody's
Don't bother me.
I even see this one lady. I thought it was so funny. She hung something around her neck that said "Wake me up for snacks" or "Wake me up for." Like I'm down for that.
You're bringing wine. Wake me up. I would do that.
One of my favorite things about Europe travel, and this better come back after COVID because right now it's not a thing. But on my flight home in March when COVID ended. Anywhere you fly in Europe, I don't know if everyone knows this, alcohol's free, baby. I was literally the little mini bottle Prosecco princess. I was like,
yeah.
Because that's great. Like I had 3 mini bottles and watched 2.5 movies, passed out for a couple hours.
Oh yeah, I did that, and I brought my melatonins with me also.
Melatonin is the key.
And that was my trick. You know, I was very lucky since I was traveling for business. I was traveling business class, so that was very nice.
Lucky duck,
it even had massage in one of the chairs, in one of the seats.
Oh my God.
Massage and everything. I was anything. That's another story. Yeah. So it's pretty nice when you travel. I don't know how it's gonna go when I travel with my husband and I have to maybe buy coach seats. You know, have you seen the episode of Jerry Seinfeld of whenever you go to first class, you never go back?
No.
Oh, no. I don't know. It's just, I don't know how that's going to go.
So I actually had this one really random, amazing experience. So this was right after I graduated from high school, and my high school sweetheart and I, we went to Hawaii for just a graduation, whatever. So we had the best time. But I remember I booked our flights and I did not book first class. Okay. Did not. I'm like, oh no, I'm such a frugal. I'm like, okay, get us the best seats. So we flew there regular coach. And then we get to the airport and we're running a little bit late, but we get there and we're like, why haven't they called us yet? And we go up to the front and she goes, oh, you guys are first class. We look at each other I don't say anything, but I'm just like, dude,
you take it.
We had first class. It was so amazing. They gave us all of the this was years ago, right? 2010. So all the headphones and all the movies and steaks and all this it was so crazy. And I still to this day have no idea why that happened.
You just have to take it.
Oh, girl,
you don't complain.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I am not gonna ever call wave the white flag on that. I was like, yes. So it was so great. One day that's gonna be the move. But once again, it's so nice when your company pays for it. You're like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're doing that.
one of the flights, they gave me the all the comforter and all the not sheets, but blankets and all that. Because you're gonna lay flat to make it a bed. One of the bags said Saks Fifth Avenue. Okay. One of the blanket. Oh, I just said a brand. But anyways, yeah. So it was and you can of course it's gonna be all soft and nice and delicious.
So perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this lady keeps coming with the freaking champagne, so I'm like, oh my God, just go away, lady.
But do you know that they sleep? The flight attendants, they have the whole top part of the plane is where they go sleep.
They probably have to.
They have to.
Maybe they wait until I go to sleep. So
exactly.
So they're like, oh, Lorena is already asleep. I can go now.
They can exactly. No, but so they have shifts because the last flight went on. It was so long, and this one the lady looked like she just woke up, and I was like, do you get to sleep on here? She's like, yeah, I just slept for a couple hours. I was like, oh my God. So I think that's really cool for them too.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but so obviously, guys, we know the best way to travel is first class. But if you're not quite there yet, the things to make it feel more first classy are get yourself get
all the comfy stuff.
Eye mask, blanket, bring your own. Some actually long flights actually do give you blankets most of the time. They have them on the seat. I have done those, but I also bought my own because
bring your own.
They're a little softer, but I will say sometimes if you really need the room in your bag, don't, because they will have them. But yeah, just super depends.
Correct.
But yeah, there is a way to travel in style and comfort and in a less packed way, you know? So that's my tip for that. And then, okay, so you said Singapore. Any tips for Singapore?
Oh my God, Singapore, don't chew gum. That's the one thing.
I love
like,
gum.
don't do it, or you're going to jail.
That's my favorite pastime.
But of course, the noodles in there and all the food is pretty awesome.
Send nudes.
Well, it's like I said noodles, not nudes.
I know. That's a joke. Send nudes. Like, send me noodles.
Sometimes, you know, with my Spanglish, I think I say inappropriate stuff. So I'm like, that's why I was asking. No. Like, I gotta be prepared.
I'll always take some noodles, girl. Come on.
No, but I was very lucky to stay at one of the nice Marriotts in there, and their buffet. Did I say buffet? Buffet or buffet? Okay.
Buffet.
Their food in there is like, it's sushi, noodles, and there's some in the corner, some American stuff like that you will eat in breakfast and stuff. But the noodles and they're real stuff. Yeah. It's like, oh incredible. My God, delicious. Incredible. Yes. So there's they have the Subway in there. I didn't do a lot of sightseeing.
Okay, I got a Singapore Subway. Let me tell you, that was like a $14, $5 freaking flatbread. Okay, don't do it. If you're gonna spend your money, get some noodles. Yeah,
I know. But yeah, the noodles was my favorite thing. There's a lot of Michelin star like tiny restaurants that they're not even called restaurant. They're like stands. Like,
but the
just
Michelin
Google
stars
them.
are so delicious. Wow.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
I love that because honestly, one of my favorite things to do when I go places is go to Michelin star places. I like hole in the walls too, but like, come on, if you can Michelin star it up, like
Michelin star and hole in the wall. So that's
a combo. I'm down for
a combo. It's like awesome. I didn't go to it because I didn't have time, but I will go. Definitely. Like, just Google them. It's like every time you travel, my recommendation is to Google where those are and what are the top places. You know, their Yelp was pretty good for me over there in Singapore, and any of the locations, you know, Yelp is everywhere. But yeah, it was good. It was amazing. And then just seeing all the architecture in Singapore, it's just phenomenal.
I know.
My goodness.
There's that one very famous building where it's like a ship on the top, and it's like
I saw it like that. Like I just stare at it like for 10 minutes or more.
Forever. Yeah, forever. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah, we had dinner in front of it, so it was pretty nice.
I love that. Well, so it sounds like you are a well-traveled, well-wined woman, and I think we will wrap it up with, if you are traveling the world, make sure to use Google, and you can find yourself some Michelin-starred noodles.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you for having me.
Cheers. We'll see you next time on Up to Date.